businessman and a politician, has been making headlines in the lead-up to the 2023 Nigerian presidential election. A former governor of Anambra State, Obi is widely regarded as one of the Nigeria's most accomplished and respected political figures. He is also known for his progressive view on economic and social issues. In early 2002, speculations began to mount that Obi would throw his hat into the ring for the 2023 election. Although he had not yet made any official announcement, his supporters began to mobilize and campaign on his behalf. Obi himself remained tight-lipped on the subject, but he did not discourage his supporters. As the year progressed, Obi's popularity continued to grow. He was invited to speak at various events and conferences where he shared his idea on how he can move Nigeria forward. His speech were well received by audience, who praised him for his clarity of vision and his practical approach to problem solving.
Take back your country. This country belongs to you. It is your future that they are toying with. You must take it back from them. It is not your country. And you must take it back from them. And how will you take it back from them? How will you take it back from them? When they invite you, go to your local government and ask the local government chairman who receives 100 million naira every month. What does he do with it? He will tell you no problem, yet he's buying new Jeep. This is somebody who has never seen car in his life. He now uses Jeep. His wife has become first lady of the local government. You go everywhere, a convoy will pass you. They say it's first lady of the state. First what? This man, this woman is like they used to tell me then, hey, Peter, you're not treating your wife fairly. Peter, you're not doing this. That this is this. I said, no. There's so many costs. If I tell you little, if I have time and tell you cost of governance here, you won't be here. When I came back, when I started, we had about 10 governors' guest house. I said, what is governor going to do with this? I go to work in the morning, I go back in the evening. I'll come back. My cook then will cook about food that about 50 people will eat. I said, what is it for? They were killing one cow every day. I said, what is this for? He said, Your Excellency, I'm doing it in case if you come back with people. I said, have you ever seen me come back here with anybody? So why are you cooking for the people? Any day people will come here, I will let you know. Cook for only one person. One person. Me. I said, don't do it. You know, I come from Anambra State. There's too many big men. Of course, like I tell them, I said, don't allow any of them to come here. I don't have what it takes to entertain them. So what they do, they phone me, Peter, I want to see you. I come to your house in the evening. So I go to his house, because there he will bring his champagne, eat his fabulous food, and at times when I'm going, they will give me some to take back. Goodbye. But don't go to government house. Because government house is not a restaurant. It's not a place to drink champagne. A bottle of champagne. A bottle of champagne today costs about 400,000, 500,000. That is salary of 20 people at 20,000. And you drink it with the public money. No, you can't do that. Let me assure you, I've said it before, let's leave the issue of election. I'll assure you that what we are doing, the movement we are doing today, those who are in charge of election in Nigeria will have no alternative than to do the right thing. When I ran for governor in Anambra State, it was like this. But eventually, they found out that they had no alternative. And I assure you, this will happen. On the issue of ports and customs, somebody asked, I have visited about 6 countries. Today, Nigerian Ports Authority, which is supposed to be one of our great revenue generating agencies, is not doing or contributing up to 50% of what is expected from them. And also, issues we talk about customs. Customs live in the same society as political leaders live. As long as the political leaders live as corrupt as they are today, it will be difficult for other agencies to function. Very, very difficult. I'll answer that more when I talk about corruption, because they all same. Somebody talk about Nigeria need to pursue now and aggressively is security. Let nobody tell you it is difficult to fight security in Nigeria. Criminals cannot overrun a country. It's not possible. And I'll give you an example of what in South America, all over South America, from Brazil to Mexico to Colombia, I want to give places that are near to you. They've gone through what we are going through today. They've been through it. One is there's something you call natural security. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. Then you have to pull, and government supporting people to come out of poverty is not as difficult as we make it look. It's been done everywhere in the world. Even the amount that is being mismanaged and stolen can do that. In terms of issue of facing the remaining, Nigeria is, in terms of all our security agencies, the number of personnel is low. They are unequipped for the job. I was in Egypt. Egypt is a country of 100 million, and they have over 1 million police. Nigeria is 200 million, and we have 320,000 police. And I can tell you, I don't know whether any of you listen to the governor of Katsina. He says that the number of police in Katsina is 5,000. The whole of Katsina. And that you go to a station, you see 30, and they have only 10 guns. So even out of the 320, one is that out of the 320, about 70,000 are following people around. We shouldn't be, including myself. Then the remaining 250, you now use the same ratio you use, you find out that only about 80,000 are armed. It won't work. We need to increase the number, and we need to immediately start state police. There's no reason why we should not have community policing. We want to secure the place. So what is the fear of not having police all over the place? We need multi-level policing. That's what happens in every society. So it is not, so professional. Be rest assured, I can tell you, we can't talk about, we don't want you to come home. Professional, I don't want you to come home. We don't want the foreign investor to come or anybody. Everybody coming home or anybody coming to invest, even if the profit is 200%, you have to be alive to enjoy your profit. You're not going to die now. So we must secure the place. It is number one item. And I assure you, I've been through it before. This one will not be different. Issue of Abacha loot and corruption. Let me tell you about me and looking at the past. There are things that I say people don't like. If I'm serving today, if you say Peter Obi is the president tomorrow, don't think I'm going to spend my time looking at the back. Let me finish. Let me finish. I didn't say people at the back, nothing will happen to them. It's not my business. Those who are doing it can do it. But let me tell you, those who think about yesterday and today will miss tomorrow. God gave us eye for the front. Nigeria is too huge with too much talent to deal with the future. I've served as the governor. Anybody who tell you there's corruption, anywhere you see corruption, those in leadership are involved. If you, the leader, is not stealing, your family, your wife and children are not involved, those around you are not involved, you reduce it by 70%. And I've challenged everybody. And I'm challenging you. Go to Anambra State for the 8 years I was governor and show me what is missing there. Because the way it works is that you add your own. When you put your own, the commissioners or the ministers will put their own. The permanent secretary will put their own. Everybody will continue to put their own. So when it comes back to you to approve, you can't say no because your own is there. If your own is not there, it's impossible. It couldn't have been possible for Anambra State. In 8 years, we did not borrow money. We didn't borrow money from anybody. We paid whoever we were owing. And I say it, and all of you, it is in banks in Nigeria. You have contacts in all those banks. It would have been possible for me to leave office, leaving $150-something million and over 30 billion naira. You know, there are monies nobody said I should keep them. So if you're not stealing, and that goes with what I'm saying about cutting the cost of governance. The cost of governance in Nigeria is totally unacceptable. It is not possible. There's no way. If you wake up tomorrow morning and anybody sees the Prime Minister of Canada in 30-something vehicles on the road, I don't think he will remain the next day. Will he? That is the crisis we face. I don't think anybody has seen the wife in convoy. No, it's important you know this. This is the crisis we face. Our face is as the governor, and these are the waste we want to curtail. When I was governor, I faced the fact that the people say, oh, you're the only governor without office of first lady. I'm very close to my wife. 2 of us live in the house and everything. But throughout the campaign, just like I'm going now, she never campaigned. Nobody voted for her. And suddenly, she appears from nowhere and being catered for government. These are the confusions we need to remove. You know that. Issue of National Assembly. You're talking about National Assembly. Let me tell you. National Assembly is not a problem. I governed Anambra State without having one member of House of Assembly from my party. Initially, it was a difficult one. When they realized where I was going, everybody, the society took over. I can assure you, National Assembly will not be a problem. When I put what I'm going to do for the people of Nigeria on the table, they will have no alternative than to follow it, or Nigerians will. Let's deal with the next 5.
All right. Thank you, Your Excellency. This question is from Yo-Yo Common Sense Sister. What is your policy for gender equality? Women having access to credit, more opportunities in political offices, and educating the girl child in Nigeria and its impact on the economy. This is from Buki Ojo. What will it take you to do restructuring, tribal segregation, and religion? This is from Igbo Union of Canada. How can you solve the problem of power sector differently from previous government?
What?
How can you solve the problem of power sector differently?
Power.
Yes, power sector. Yeah, the power sector differently from previous government. This is from Cynthia Okwute from POSN. With the surge in migration of healthcare professionals, how do you plan to create sustainability and reverse this trend? This is from Benjamin Orokeke, Junit from POSN as well. With the loading rate at this is not clear. Please, your handwriting is not visible. I'll take the last one from here, Your Excellency. This is from Dr. Dave Wabo. How will you solve recurring ASU strike issue when elected as President of Nigeria?
Okay. Well, we'll start with gender equality. It will surprise you that I will say what I'll do, and I'll give you an example of where it's happened before. One of the greatest assets we've not utilized is investing in women. If you invest Men, I'm telling you, this is very serious. If you invest in women, I assure you, you're going to get better return than if you invest in men. Because why? Women will always care with whatever they make. Of course, I don't need to tell you about my own success as governor. I can tell you, before I became governor, I was chairing one of the successful banks in Nigeria. My people I work with are here. Our treasurer was a woman. Our risk officer was a woman. And I'm the chairman. These two persons will always tell me when I'm wrong. Because as a leader, the greatest thing you need, one is that as a leader, learning and leading is inseparable. As a leader, you don't know everything. If you see anybody that knows everything, he's an idiot. Don't go near him. So you must listen. As governor, I can tell you it was more visible. Everybody that knows me know that as governor, my chief of staff was a woman. The pansec in my office, woman. Head of service, woman. Commissioner for finance, commissioner for education. In fact, it's just not any of you who have known me closely or watched what I did will tell you that it wouldn't have been possible without people like Mrs. Wandu, Stella Okuna, and this. You can't say anything wrong in where my chief of staff is. Never. She will not allow it to go. She will tell you, no, no, no. You can't do this. And all women. Until today, that's how they are. In fact, every now and then, everybody knows they're coming to a meeting and say, it's time to sack all of it. They are ready to go. So it is important when we talk about gender equality, we should actually invest in women and give them the responsibility. I think even the Nigeria have had enough of men. Now we probably need a woman to solve the problem. Single-handedly, Ngozi Iweala was begging and crying to all of us as governors. To what we are going today, she saw it coming. She was crying. Go and read her book. Fighting Corruption is Dangerous. She was begging us when we had over 20 billion naira in sovereign wealth fund, in SS crude account. He said, allow me to save this money and I'll be able to build up to 50 billion in that account, and we have reserve of 50 billion. The country will be stabilized. The governors refused. All of us refused. All of us. But I must say, the book is very clear. Page 61, it was very clear. It said, Governor Obi, who supported saving, was not supported by his colleagues. Every country in the world saves. Every human being saves for the future. Except Nigeria. issue of restructuring. Well, somebody asked about restructuring. I just talked about state police. One of the greatest and the most important thing about restructuring is security. I believe in it. We must lay the foundation that is proper for our enduring federal system of government, and that is restructuring the country to make it more competitive. Federal government have nothing to do with education. It's waste of everybody's time. All these have cut-off points, have this and this. No. You're wasting everybody's time. If these people want to go to school, they go to school. If these people don't want to go to, it's their business. We must deal with all those issues and make the country more competitive. Power sector. Let me tell you, power sector is one place that I look at and I tell you there's something wrong with Nigeria. Nigeria generates and distributes about 4,000 megawatts of electricity. Biggest country in Africa, and they generate.
By the mid-2022, Obi had become a serious contender for the presidency. He had the support of a wide range of political and social groups, including young people, women, and the business communities. His campaign was well funded and well organized, with a team of dedicated volunteers working tirelessly to promote his candidacy. In the months leading up to the election, Obi intensified his campaign efforts. He crisscrossed the country, meeting with voters and addressing crowd and rallies and town hall meetings. He also took part in television debates where he impressed audience with his knowledge of the issue and his ability to articulate his position clearly and convincingly. As the election drew nearer, Obi's campaign shifted into higher gear. His team launched a massive social media campaign using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to reach millions of voters. They also used targeted advertising to reach specific demographics, such as young people and women. On election day, Obi had work paid off.
Everyone, my name is Oduda Basiasuko, and this is my question. Okay, sir, the problem that we have in Nigeria, obviously, is terrible leadership. And what? Terrible leadership.
Question, please.
So my question is this: since we seem to have just two platforms, like let's say two political parties that are actually involved in Nigeria, what are the other platforms that a youth can have to participate in Nigerian politics?
My dear, let me correct you. One minute. We don't have terrible leadership. We actually have, again, let me tell you, we also have terrible followership. You have listened to me say it. I've been in office. Let me tell you the greatest problem that is in our country today. It is not that we have. Yes, the number one problem is leadership. But what is even worse? The followership. I was a governor for 8 years. For 8 years, from the one that I started, what do you get? First, you start seeing the so-called elites, the so-called powerful royal fathers and everybody coming to pay you courtesy call. They will write and say they want to see you. They come to your office. Once you open door, they say, "Hey, Peter, since you came, hey, the world have changed. I didn't know this is this good." You haven't done anything, no. You know yourself, you have not done anything. This person will be praising you. And Your Excellency, hey, we didn't know there's anybody like you in this world. Listen, that one, and when he's going, of course, you heard me say, when he's going, you have this bunch of people, they call protocol people. Now, who calls themselves? The man is going, no. We didn't give him anything, no. That usually when they come, they normally give them maybe 200,000 or this and I said, listen, hey, wait a minute. This man just said he want to see me. I didn't invite him. He was who came here. So why are we going to give him money? We're not going to give him anything. It's
transport fare, sir.
Then you have people who say, oh, you have people who say, hey, we want to do Thanksgiving for you. A church, we must pray for you. You enter the church, you see this and hey, since you came, God has turned this place around. God Almighty, God is and then the same people will tell you, say, we didn't come with anything to give. I said, the man say he wants to thank God to bless us. So why are we going to give him money? And he became a quarrel with people because they thought, oh, and everything. The same thing, you are going around everywhere 6 months after being governor or minister or anything. Somebody who voted, I didn't have a house in my village. You invite people and say you're doing Thanksgiving with a big house, several vehicles. Your wife will even have a shabby uniform for the Thanksgiving. God will multiply it. These are just stealing our money. Instead of calling police, they are celebrating him. That is the major problem of the country.
Well said, sir.
Followership. You know where I got the truth? If I tell you where I got the truth, you hear me say it every day. I use one local government, one town called Obo Family. Obo Family is the border, the last town in Anambra State. If you are going through where we call Oka North, nobody had ever visited there. I went there. The whole town was dancing. They were very happy. The parents. I looked at 3 little children because they were in front of me. I was fond of school children. And I said to them, these are under 12. Do you know me? Yes. Do you have any problem? He pointed, our school have no roof. The parents are here praising me and calling me His Excellency. Wonderful man. But there's a school just looking at here without the roof. The parents did not see it. The other one, they have no teacher. They have no toilet. These 3 people have a problem. And that's it. I once went to a secondary school and promised the secondary school that I'm going to, because I visited all the secondary schools. I once went to the secondary school, promised them that I'm going to come back before Christmas and give them a check to do their roof for 7 million naira, because that's what the bill. I didn't do it. In January every year, I will bring schools to do what we call students interaction. I brought this school, Mother of Mercy, let me remember the name, Azibo. The school is a young girl raised his hand. A girl that was in JS1, class 1. And I said, yes. He said, Governor, why is it that you don't keep your promise? Before, as he was saying it, the principal ran from the back, held her in the mouth. But he was just about to tell me the truth. And I said, I'm telling you what a life story. I'm telling you a life story. I'm sure when you tell this story, everybody in Anambra will tell. The principal ran from the back. And I said, Principal, leave this girl to tell me. He said, you didn't keep your promise. You came to our school and he called the exact date I came, made the promise, and I didn't come back. And I said, okay, wait. I called the Commissioner for Education. I said, what happened? He said, hey, We've actually, because whenever I go to any place and promise, you must write the check. He said, we have actually done that check, but we will not deliver. I said, go and bring it. They brought it. I called the young girl, said, I'm sorry, you were right, and I apologize to you. Here is your check. The same place that came from the back, I carried on here. I was going to them to look. So you see, this is the crisis. This is the crisis of our country. This is the crisis of our country. That's why I said we must take it back. It's not whether we have one party or two party. You told him and Pat told me that they are good. Let's take it back and follow them.
Absolutely. Questions?
Peter Obi, the Nigerian businessman and politician who was born on July 19, 1961 in Onitsha, Anambra State, Nigeria. He attended Christ the King College in Onitsha for his secondary education and later proceeded to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, where he obtained a bachelor degree in philosophy. After graduation, Obi started his career in the corporate world, working for several companies in Nigeria and abroad. He later founded his own company, Next International Nigeria Limited, which grew to become a successful multinational conglomerate with interest in several sectors including finance, real estate, and agriculture. Obi's interest in politics began in 1990s when he became involved in pro-democracy activism in Nigeria. He served as the chairman of the board of trustees of the Anambra State chapter of All Progressive Grand Alliance, AMPGA, political party before eventually being elected of Anambra State. Political party before eventually being elected governor of Anambra State in 2006. As governor, Obi made significant strides in improving the state's economy, education system, and infrastructure. He was re-elected in 2010, but his tenure was marred by political controversy and legal battle with his opponent. Obi has also been involved in several philanthropic and social causes, including the Peter Obi Foundation, which he established to provide scholarship and support to disadvantaged children in Nigeria. In 2019, Obi was appointed as the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the Nigerian presidential election, but his party untimely lost the election to the incumbent Peter Obi's political career started in the late 1990s when he became involved in pro-democracy activism in Nigeria. He was a member of the Justice Group, a political group that fought for the restoration of democracy in Nigeria after several years of military rule. In 2003, Obi contested for the governorship post but lost to incumbent governor Chris Ngige of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Obi challenged the election result in court, and after a long legal battle, he was declared the winner in March 2006. Obi's tenure as governor of Anambra State was characterized by several reforms and development projects. He implemented policies that promoted education, health care, and infrastructure development in the state. He also reformed the state finance and reduced wasteful spending, which earned him a reputation as a prudent manager of public resources. In 2010, Obi was re-elected as governor of Anambra State in a controversial election that was initially declared in favor of his opponent, but was later overturned by the Court of Appeal. During his second term, Obi continued with his development agenda and launched several new projects, including the construction of roads, bridges, and public buildings. In 2014, Obi handed over the reign of power to his successor, Willie Obiano, also of the APGA party. He later joined the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and was appointed as the party's national campaign advisor for 2015 general election. In 2019, he was selected as the running mate to Atiku Abubakar, the PDP presidential candidate in Nigeria presidential election. Peter Obi's journey to the presidency in 2023 was a long and challenging one, but it was ultimately successful thanks to his vision, his determination, and the support of millions of Nigerians.
Labour Party! Any moment from now, yes, we welcome our vice presidential candidate. Our vice presidential candidate, you are welcome. You are welcome. Gbogbo àwọn tá a wà ní ẹgbẹ́ wọlé sínú omi tá a wà yìí. Gbogbo àwọn tá a wà ń ta ẹgbẹ́ wọlé sí ní. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our presidential candidate. We welcome the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the coming general election. His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, you're welcome. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. And for a ballet. Again for a ballet. Gbogbo wa pátá la máa rí wọn bá sọ̀rọ̀. Wọ́n lè máa bá gbogbo wa sọ̀rọ̀. Alright, I also welcome the new wife of our presidential candidate. You are most welcome back. All the entourage of His Excellency, you are welcome. You are welcome, all of you. You are welcome to Okwute. You are welcome to Okwute. And now I'll see you later. You are welcome. We welcome everyone.
The honor of inviting me to be here today to listen to you. I wish to apologize sincerely that the vice presidential candidate of Labour Party, Dati Baba Ahmed, is not here. He was supposed to leave Lagos this morning. We are all involved in your team. I do not think I have any comment to make, maybe to add a little, because whatever needs to be said, you've articulated it. So for me, I've come here and I'm very glad. When I was coming for learning. not to tell you anything, because I've been taught enough. I've taken the documents, I've filed it. It's a wonderful document. If we implement whatever is written here, if we implement what is written here, there's nothing again to do. Whoever does this have achieved all that it needs to be achieved. And that brings me to what I've always said about our country. Nigeria is not bereft of ideas, written solutions, and everything. What is lacking is institutional framework and the political will to do the right thing. We are 18 of us now going around applying for a job of the president. You, the owners of the country, are interviewing all of us. And it is important. We're going to tell you the same story. Nobody's story, everybody's story will be as sweet as the other ones. What we are going to do now is to put your binoculars to check the sincerity and the truth and the one you can trust. It is now, who among these 18 can you trust? Because there's no promise you are going to make that was not been made by people in the past. That promise has always been there. But it is who have delivered this trust. Everybody's going to tell you now how they're going to go take you to heaven. Until after election, they'll start reminding you where you're coming from. In the past, which you have forgotten. That's the reason why you're hiring us now. And that's what I told people yesterday. I will not look at the past. Most of the things you've enumerated here are the things I've said. And all I want to do is to move the country from consumption to production. It is not a productive country. People say, what is your priority? I said it. My priority is to secure and unite the country. It's number one thing you need to do. Because the first job, you said here is a failed or a failing state. Because we want to be polite with our country, Nigeria have hit the two most critical things that qualify the country for a failed state. Number one, when you're no longer in control of your territory. We are no longer in control of the. Number two is when you're no longer in control of your economy. Nobody can tell you today how much they're going to sell a bag of rice tomorrow. Not in this country. You just ask somebody to go to market. When he comes back, whatever price he gives you, take it. That's the price for the day. No country can function like that. Anybody, people say now they are traveling to the east. Your family say they are traveling anywhere now. East, west, north, everywhere. You are waiting until they reach there and phone you. Then you cannot eat. Otherwise, you're not sure. So that is the crisis we faced. The question is, how are we going to do this? This is, you saw the last report where we now move where we have over 133 million people living in poverty. No country can have that number of people living in poverty and you will face the crisis we're facing. And why, how did we get here? All that you've said here that is not happening is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, which we can say supported by complacency of our people. So I assure you that I'm committed. Let me say it first. I'm committed to what the charter. The only thing that is there is how do we implement it? The will to implement it. And I can tell you, people, I believe that we need to restructure. I believe in all this. But even as bad as this present constitution is, there's a lot of guarantees in it and there's a lot of things that you can implement it that can make it work. It's not what is stopping us from production. No. What is stopping us from production is that over the years, we have had incompetent leadership. And it's not just president, at all levels, because they're cumulative thing. You might have one or two people who mean well, but at the end of the day, 75% of the people don't know what they need to do. The country is failing. That's why we've created too many. So what are we going to do? I say again, secure and unite the country. It is critical. Because when you secure the country, you are able to bring your farmers to go back to the farm. That alone will start bringing down your food inflation. The food inflation is the most critical inflation you need to hit on. And then talk about moving the country, because I want to interact, I want to listen to people, I want them to ask me questions. Moving the country, by the time you move it from consumption to production, you're pulling people out of poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. I was seeing the Canadian ambassador this morning, and I said, you used to have agitation in your country. There's agitation all over the place. There's criminality all over the place. Brazil, everywhere. Used to go through what we're going through now. India used to have a problem. They couldn't feed themselves. I said to him, why is Canada today a place everybody wants to go? Because you've turned around the economy. You've put people out of poverty. Agitations and all the problems died. Because if people know where the next millions come from, they reduce the agitation, they reduce their criminality and everything. And I've gone to prisons and seen young people and asked them, why did you do what you did? They will tell you they have no job. They have no means of livelihood. You can't have 33% unemployment in a huge country like Nigeria and you have crisis. You can't have 60%, almost 60% youth unemployment, which means millions of your young people with energy and talent are not doing anything. They have to exert that energy somewhere. You can't have, because they don't have anywhere to exert it, they've gone into drugs. You have 13.8% drug prevalence against the global average of about 5.something%. You have a crisis. To deal with that crisis is production. With guns outside and you have less than that, that supports the need, one, for a complete review of your security architecture, starting with increasing the personnel. Police, to the best of my knowledge, is 320,000. For a country of 200 million, it's unacceptable. If you compare with Egypt, that's 100, they are 1 million. So let's increase that to at least 1 million. And then I support issue of local government, state, 3-level policing. Thereafter, the most important thing to stop and reduce that criminality is to start pulling those people out of poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. There's a lot you can have today all over Nigeria. You have 35% unemployment. With your youth who are in their productive age, we have 60% youth unemployment. Youth unemployment. You can't have that and you have crisis. That's where the guns are domiciled. So you replace that with jobs. Replace it with employment. Replace it with entrepreneurship. You invest in your micro, small businesses where these youths are domiciled by supporting them, pulling them out of poverty. I've advocated that the goal of Nigeria in terms of physical access is the uncultivated land in the north. We can't have that huge land and we have the level of poverty that we experience in the north. And I've given examples with so many countries of the world where things have worked differently. Niger State have 8 local governments, or about 7 or 8 local governments that is occupied by bandits. and they are living on 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. It's unacceptable. Arable land that is fertile. When Netherlands, if you minus water, it's 33,000. And if you go there, their last year export of food was over 100 billion euros, which as at that time was about $120 billion. If Niger State can do just 2% of that, for the land space they have, 2.5 times their land, they earn about $2.4 billion. Even at 650, let's leave 800 today, it's about 1.5 trillion. Imagine what Niger State will be. Those kids, those local governments will not be taken over by bandits. Fact checkers, I hope you are checking.
Quiet in the hall. Now, Governor.
Well, without doubt, Peter Obi is the most qualified person to rule Nigeria this time around, because Nigeria have been through so many things for the past 8 years. You know, the recent one is the hardship, scarcity of money, scarcity of fuel that made people, as in, you can imagine, you have money in the bank, you won't be able to collect that money, even to buy fuel that is even increased. You understand? So Nigeria have been in so many hardship. So coming to Peter Obi, I think he's the most qualified is that if you look at the kind of job he did when he was governor of Anambra State, you would believe me that if he's been given to pilot the affairs of this country, as in he's going to change Nigeria automatically, not automatically anyway, but at least he will reshape so many things, cut cost of so many things, you understand? So that is why I think he's the most qualified to handle this nation. So, but you know, evil forces everywhere, Jagaban forces and APC forces, they've been at work, and even as the court case has resumed, you understand, you will believe me that they are still even going to the extent of bribing the judges. As in, these people think that they own Nigeria now. PDP, after doing their own for 16 years, they want to still put Nigeria under ransom for another 16 years. No, it's not going to happen. But my fear right now is that once this Jagaban is being sworn in, I don't think he will want to leave that office. He's going to use every force within him to manipulate the judges, the judiciary, and the outcome of the judgment. I think that is what is going to happen. But I believe in God. I know that whatever God has said must surely come to pass. Since so many men of God have spoken concerning this issue and the outcome of this issue, I am hoping that this is going to end up the way it was prophesied. Because the way Obi emerged, and the way the movement started, and the way the movement was going, it seems like not ordinary. So that is why I so much believe that justice must prevail this time around, even with all their forces, even with everything, you understand? So because I wouldn't want Nigeria to go into another hardship. They go embezzle everything. They will sell the whole company, the remaining company. They will sell off everything and embezzle everything. So I think we don't need such thing in our country right now. All we need right now is someone like Peter Obi, someone that knows how to manage an economy, someone that is not extravagant, someone that can take this country from consumption to production. Thank you guys for staying tuned.